everyone. Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Minnie Banks. I'm the Flip Flop Chef. Today I want to show you how to make basil pineapple sorbet, and we're going to start the recipe using Pampered Chef's Deluxe Cooking Blender. Then we're going to refrigerate the mixture, and then I'll come back and show you guys how to use the Pampered Chef's ice cream maker to make this delicious sorbet. So I found this recipe in the All Recipes magazine. This came in my mailbox. I saw this beautiful picture on the front and thought I have to make this, and I was so excited that it is so simple and so easy. All you need is pineapple, basil, and some sugar. So this is gonna come together so quick and so easy. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start off by getting our pineapple peeled and cored, and then we're going to dice it up. Then we're gonna puree it with some basil and sugar in the Deluxe Cooking Blender. So if you've never seen me cut a pineapple before, I'm gonna show you again today. So I'll zoom in so that you get an up close look. I do have a whole video showing you how to cut up a pineapple and a couple of the other bonus recipes in that video too. If you're new here, I hope you'll click subscribe so you'll be notified anytime I post a new video. I'm gonna cut the top and the bottom off of my pineapple. So we have a flat base to work on. And you can toss this in the garbage. And if you are not familiar with my videos, yet, I hope that you will go to theflipflopchef.com, check out my recipe community. You can click the button at the top to join that, and you'll have access to thousands of recipes, about 40 downloadable cookbooks, and a giveaway every single week. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our pineapple wedger right on the top of the pineapple. You're gonna line up, let's see if I can come through here without cutting myself. You're gonna line up the circle in the middle with the core of the pineapple. So we're just gonna start like this. And then once you get it started, if you're like me, I find that it's easier if I stand on my tippy toes and then use my body weight just to kind of press and rock this back and forth. You don't want to press this straight down because it's going to take so much strength to do that. But by rocking it back and forth, then it makes it much easier to slice or peel, core, and slice your pineapple. So we're going to take off the sides here. This smells so good. So I'm so glad that I got a really sweet pineapple. It's gonna make this taste even better. So I'm gonna gently press this back down and pull this off the top. The pineapple wedger is dishwasher safe, so I'll just toss that in the dishwasher when I am done. It does come with this cover to cover the blade when you're storing this in your drawer or your cabinet. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take both halves of the pineapple, and I'm gonna save the core. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take our cold brew pitcher, and this actually has our fruit infuser attached to it. You also get a coffee filter attachment. I have lots of videos showing you how to use the cold brew pitcher to make coffee and coffee cocktails and other drinks and recipes. But for today, I'm just gonna toss these into my cold brew pitcher to make some pineapple water, and I may even add some basil to that when I get to that step. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna need 4 cups of diced pineapple. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up. You can start in either direction that you like. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do long ways and then crossways. So let's see. Just make sure that the hand holding the knife is going to always be dry. Because if your hands are slippery, you're more likely to cut yourself. All right, so let's see how much we have here. We may need most of this pineapple. Oops. I'm using our large groove cutting board here. Let me wash and dry my hands again so I have dry hands for holding that sharp knife. So we've got a little bit more than 2 cups, so we'll see what this ends up being. But the large groove cutting board, I love it because this groove around the edge will hold up to 3/4 of a cup of liquid. So if you're cutting a juicy fruit, like this pineapple or a watermelon, or maybe you're cutting up some steaks, all those juices are gonna run into the groove instead of on your counters. So let's see. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit extra. So I'm gonna put the rest in our cut and store container. We could just use all of this if you like, but I'm gonna follow the directions the first time. I don't think it would make a big difference, but we're gonna put the extra pineapple in here and then put a lid on here. And this is our cut and store. Oh, I guess I had it on there. It just didn't feel like it was on there tight. So I'll set that aside. It can go in the refrigerator. Put our cutting board in the sink. And then we're gonna bring our blender container over here. Let me clean up. I did still make a little bit of a mess. We're gonna pour the 4 cups of pineapple in there. And I'm gonna grab a pair of kitchen shears really quickly. All right, so for this it says that we need about 3 tablespoons of chopped basil. Well, the really cool thing is our blender is going to dice this up, so I'm not gonna worry about chopping it up too much before I put it in here. So I'm just gonna put a couple of leaves in there and let the blender do its thing. I do wanna give you this little tip. If you don't grow fresh basil at your house and you buy it at the grocery store like I do, I recommend that you put it in water and keep this on the countertop. So I just have this super cute coffee mug that my mom gave me. And this basil came from Trader Joe's. I think they have the best basil. And I just cut the stems just like you would flowers. And you just sort of make yourself a little vase. Now, you're gonna have a couple of these that may, like this one, looks really bad. You can just toss the ones that are brown. Don't worry about those. I need to put some fresh water in here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, let's see. I'm gonna cut off anything that doesn't look great and discard it, and then the rest we'll put in to our blender. And you don't want to refrigerate your basil. Just remember, however you find it at the grocery store is how you need to store it at home. And so basil should not be refrigerated, and so you should find it at the grocery store probably near tomatoes. Just put it in some water so that it'll last a little bit longer. All right, so we have our 4 cups of pineapple, we have our fresh basil. We're gonna add a 1/2 cup of sugar. So let me go ahead and measure that out, pour that in. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our lid on our blender container. My cord got a little bit twisted there. Pull this around, place the blender container on the blender, turn the blender on, and I'm just gonna use the custom blend setting for this. I'm gonna press the wheel to select the custom blend. Press the start button. Let me grab my tamper. I didn't have that handy, but I'm probably gonna need it. Thankfully it's close by. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the little cap off the top. Let me show you what I just did. So I just unscrewed the cap off the top so that I can put the tamper in there, and this will help me push this into the blades. This already smells so good. So that's all we're gonna do. We're gonna transfer this to a bowl, and then this is gonna need to be refrigerated for about an hour. And after that hour, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and I'll have Pampered Chef's ice cream maker ready, and I'll show you how to make this in the ice cream maker. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna transfer this mixture, and you can see it's kind of thick, all right? Oh, it smells so good. I'm using our long skinny scraper just to scrape out as much of this as I can. Let's see, kind of at an awkward angle with this in my way. Okay, there we go. And then what we're gonna do off camera is I will run a cleaning cycle. There is a heated wash setting on this deluxe cooking blender. You add 3 cups of water, a single drop of dish soap, put the lid on it, set it to the heated wash cycle, and what it's gonna do, it's gonna heat the water, and then it's going to swish it around like the inside of a dishwasher. All you have to do when it's done, pour out the water, rinse the blender, and you're ready to go for the next round. Now, I do have a video on my channel showing you how to clean the deluxe cooking blender, so if you wanna watch that video to see the whole process, you certainly can. But hang tight, I'm gonna refrigerate this, and then in an hour, I'll come back and show you how to put this in the Pampered Chef's ice cream maker. So hang tight, see you soon. Hey guys, I'm back to show you how to finish up making the pineapple basil sorbet. So first of all, I want to let you know that if you're not a member of my recipe group, you need to check it out. Go to theflipflopchef.com and click the button at the top so that you can join my group. And in the files section there, you're going to find a downloadable cookbook that's free that has lots of other ice cream maker recipes for you to try. So don't forget to do that. But I want to show you, before I get the ice cream mixture or the sorbet mixture and the ice cream base out of the fridge and freezer, I want to show you how to put these pieces together so you'll know how to make your ice cream and use your ice cream maker. So I left the bowl in the freezer because you want it to be solid frozen when you start using it. And I left the mixture in the refrigerator because you want it to stay as cold as possible. So to put this together, you're going to take this white piece here that has the power cord attached to it, and you just snap this to this little, this is kind of like a cover. Flip this over, and just like when you're putting together a hand mixer or putting a beater in your KitchenAid, always make sure that you're disconnected from the power source before you do that. So this is just a plastic paddle. You're gonna set that right inside there, and then I'm gonna go ahead, let me plug this in, and I'm gonna grab our sorbet mixture and the frozen bowl. So hang tight for me to get that. So this has been refrigerating for about an hour and a half. You want to keep it in there for at least an hour. And I do keep my ice cream maker bowl in my deep freezer in the garage. I just brought it in here just long enough for me to keep it cold, so I'll be ready for the video here. But if you have a deep freezer, it's best to keep it there because you want this to be as cold as you can get it, and make sure that your freezer is set to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a whisk, since this is just fresh pineapple and some basil and sugar. It's kind of foamy right now, and so I want to take a whisk and just sort of blend it a little bit before we pour it into our ice cream maker, just to kind of smooth it out a little bit. And then I'm going to take my ice cream maker, set it on the top, and there's little notches on the sides. You're probably not going to be able to see it on the camera, but there's a notch on each side. You just set that down into the bowl, and it kind of locks itself into place. You're going to press the power button first, and then you're going to set the timer. So these are in 5-minute increments. So this recipe says 15 to 20 minutes. So you're going to wait for it to start churning, and then you're going to pour in your ice cream or your sorbet mix while it's churning. I should have used a different bowl. It doesn't have quite as wide of an opening. We're going to pour this in. And then we're going to let this run for the 20 minutes. And if after it runs for the 20 minutes, if you feel like it needs a little bit more time, then just add some more time. You can just press the power button, add some time on the timer, and wait and see. So with our ice cream maker, you're going to get soft serve ice cream with this. And then when you're done, you can, let me scrape this down a little bit. Let me grab a scraper. All right, so when you're done with the ice cream, or the sorbet, sorry, I keep saying ice cream, you can put it in the freezer, transfer it to a container. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use. Transfer it to a container, and then you can freeze it for 8 hours or overnight, and you're gonna get a much harder ice cream or sorbet, depending on what you're making. Sorbet tends to be a little bit harder than ice cream anyways, since it is not a milk base. All right. I don't like to waste any, so I'm going to scrape this out and get as much of this in here as I can. Oops. All right, if you wanted to lick the bowl, you could certainly do that. I bet it would taste great. So we're going to just let this churn. So you just leave it on your countertop and let it keep churning and churning and churning, and it's going to thicken up the longer that it goes. When it is done, when I feel like it's at a good freeze, but still like a soft serve, I'm going to take my ice cream spade, and I like this because it doesn't scratch the inside of your ice cream maker. I'm going to use my ice cream spade, scrape everything out, and transfer it into a freezer container. So this is actually an ice cream container. I bought this at, I think TJ Maxx, years ago. I've had this a long time. You're gonna transfer it in here, put the lid on it, and put it in the freezer. Like I said, 8 hours or overnight until you're ready to serve it. And then when you're ready to serve it, you can either use your ice cream spade or your ice cream scoop to scoop out what you like. You can garnish this with more pineapple and more basil. So we did have a little bit of reserved pineapple, so that would be a nice garnish to go on the side. And you could put a basil leaf, or maybe even cut up a few pieces of basil to add to it. Put a cookie or something in there, and that'll make it even prettier and a little bit more tasty. So I'll come back and show you guys the finished product when I'm done. So you guys hang tight, and I'll show you more in a bit. Hey everyone, I'm back and I cannot wait to show you the finished product. So there's about 3 minutes left on our timer, but this is getting nice and thick. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it by just pushing the power button. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just twist the top. So just like when we twisted it on, you're just gonna twist those notches. And I probably should have unplugged this. I'm not even using my own safety tips today. Sorry, I usually would unplug that before pulling that off. We're gonna scrape this off a little bit. I don't wanna waste any of it. And I also wanna taste it. That is so refreshing, you guys. So you definitely gotta try this recipe. You could eat it as it is right now, but like I said, it's really kind of a soft serve, and it's gonna be best if you transfer it to another container and then freeze it. So check this out. Isn't that great? So we're just gonna scoop this out. So this is pineapple basil sorbet. I'll give you guys a little closer look here. And this recipe is from the April-May 2022 All Recipes magazine. So you definitely need to check this out. And don't forget to go to theflipflopchef.com and join our recipe community so that you can have access to all of the free cookbooks, the recipes that I share there, so many great things, as well as a weekly giveaway. So I like to use the ice cream spade because it really gets in all the little corners of the ice cream maker. And whoops. And it doesn't scratch it. All right. And then I'm gonna put the lid on this. I'm gonna put it in the freezer. And you wanna freeze it for at least 8 hours or overnight. And then you can use either the ice cream spade or your Pampered Chef ice cream scoop to make this. And so just so you guys can see the beautiful cover of the All Recipes magazine that I got yesterday, that's where I got the recipe, and this is so good. So I hope you guys will make it with your Pampered Chef ice cream maker. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and go to theflipflopchef.com so you'll check out more recipes from me. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Take care.